Shout out to Disney on Ice. Pelicans lose 111-95. Chaz, you're killing me. Let's go.
First took away. Yes, with this. Get your money's worth now.
Presented by Scott Vicknair Injury Law Firm. Even heard any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, head offshore. Scott Vicknair Hills. I'll give a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. They always fight for the win. It's always powered by 4D. Shout out Blue Moon.
Blue Moon.
And all the sponsors: John Deere, Theo's Pizza, Sunshine, 4D, and of course Standard Mortgage. Yes, good loss tonight. I agree. What kind of?
Well, what up, Tennessee? What up, Clay?
Jared, I'll start with this. I saw you and Chris have talked about this, but Elfrid Payton is he's an NBA player.
Yeah, man, the ability to control an offense is pivotal for. I think the reason why we like it so much is because we don't see it often, right? Like that's why it stands out so much, because it's not an apparent thing that happens for the Pelicans. Like somebody just running the offense in a way that can produce points or looks like an NBA offense.
Yeah.
All of us watch games outside of the Pelicans. That's why when we watch the Pelicans, it's like, this is not a good product. I think most of our audience is some people that they don't do that. They don't watch the other teams in the NBA, so you don't know what it looks like to see a team like the Pelicans just be bad. Like it's not normal. It shouldn't be normal. We shouldn't be accepting this. So a guy like Elfrid Payton comes in and can dribble pass, and shot not that great, but dribble pass and control the game. It's almost like, oh wow, we need this guy. But no, he's an NBA player. We just need more NBA players on our team.
I like that, Jared. We need more NBA players on an NBA basketball team. That is definitely something we definitely need.
Executives too.
Well, God forbid, right?
Yeah.
Chaz, is there something you want to talk about tonight? Anything with the game?
Yeah. I wanted to ask, do you think it's time they shut down Jose and Hawkins as well? Now I asked because now you run into a point where it's like, shit, we about to run out of people to play. But you could have signed a couple of 10-day guys. The reason why I asked if you should shut down Jose and Hawkins is because they've been so bad and their contracts are so kind of, at this point, they way overpriced. So I think their contracts have become a negative asset at this point. So do you shut them down and put out, oh, well, Hawkins, his back was bothering him, and Jose, he was hurt, stuff like that. Do you just shut them both down at this point? Because like looking at Jose and Hawkins, they both played 27 minutes apiece. They want to collect it, let's say 6 for 22. Thank you, sir. Went 2 for 10 from the field.
2 for 10 from deep. Yeah.
2 for 10. My bad, from deep. Yeah, 2 for 10 from deep, combined for 18 points.
Would you like to give those minutes to, I guess, Chaz, like to shut him down? Would you like to give those minutes to someone like Antonio Reeves and Keon Brooks? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, give Antonio Reeves, Keon Brooks. See if you could maybe find another diamond in the rough, because you're at this point try to send him to Detroit. Yeah, he need to be working for the fucking Detroit Police Department with Axel Foley, because he is, man, it is bad. But that being said, I just think you're doing more harm than good continuing to play him right now. What do you guys think? I'm interested in your thoughts. Shout out to David Grubb, man.
Yeah, shout out Grubb. Shout out everybody here. I can't believe this might be like I wouldn't shut down Hawkins. Jose's fine. You know what you have with Jose. I would like to see more of Keon, and I would like to see more of Reeves. But like to the point of Jordan Hawkins, like I don't, shutting him down won't do anything to me. I think he's got to play as much as possible. But like I see your point, Chaz. Like, I see why you would shut him down. But like I would say this though, Chaz, if you shut down Jose, then what? Elfrid Payton becomes your starting point guard. And if you're going to shut down Jose, like shut down Bruce Brown while you're at it. Like is there really any point for Bruce Brown to be playing?
No, not even. I mean,
is there any point for Kelly Olynyk to be playing? Like at this point, like then just shut everybody down. Let
But see,
Carlo...
you get to a point where it's like, fuck, somebody got to play.
But bro, like you got Lester.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pronounce his.
Yeah, Lester. You got guys like that.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But you have Lester, you have Keon Brooks, you have JRE, you got Carlo. Like you still have an NBA team. You play Eves, Hawkins, Reeves, Peyton. That's 8. Keon Brooks is 9. I mean,
you only need nine rotational guys. Honestly, 10 is like a stretch, but you really only need about 9 rotational guys, depending on what spot they're playing. Give Reeves all the minutes. Give Keon Brooks all the minutes. You need at this point. You got to find some cheap, cost control rotational players, because the ones you have right now, first round picks or not, it's just like, nah, dog. Like it ain't talking about combined $9 million next year for 2 fringe NBA players. That's not a good investment.
And Jerry, I'm ready to hear your thoughts. But like, look, guys, like we all were talking last night. I want to watch Cooper Flag. The whole fucking nation watched Cooper Flag last night.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be trying to win a basketball game from here on out. If you can catch Charlotte, great. Because here's the thing: Charlotte watched that game last night, and all of a sudden, LaMelo Ball, he's done.
Yep.
So, like, Jarrett, like, where are you at with it, Jarrett? Because how many games they have left? They're at 74, so they have 8 more games left. You need to go 0-8. You cannot win that game on Sunday.
You would hope not.
See, I'm with Chaz. I think they do need to sit Jose for sure. I think you're on this as well. Jordan needs to play. Hog needs to play. Like, nah, bump that. If I have a chance to move you, I need something to happen where you get some kind of rhythm or catch fire in these last 8 games against a team, and somebody's like, all right, see, that's the guy we would need on a team. Shout out to Grub. I thought Detroit would be an interesting place for him. I'd try to pry Jaden Ivey from them, although him being injured at this time lowers his value. He doesn't fit their timeline in a sense, right? So that's what I would try to aim for. But you need to lose as much as possible. Watching Cooper Flag last night, the thing that was super impressive to me was his energy the entire game. It really wasn't the shot making, to be honest. The playmaking I kind of already knew, but his ability to be like engaged in every single play was just like, all right, that's otherworldly. That's the guy that you need on your team. I don't think he dribbles that well. Like I could talk about things he doesn't do well, but that you really can't teach someone to be that focused into a basketball game and be able to put their team, like put his own team on his back and close a game. Like you really just can't teach it. That's the guy you need to lose for, right? If you're the Pelicans, you need to lose for that guy.
He's major. We were talking about it in the chat last night. Like this dude is different. Chaz, I had a question for you, and maybe something you can clarify for me because I'm not great with the draft odds and everything. Why is it? Someone sent a graph to me today. Like the Pelicans' chance of percentages. So if you get the first top 3 is like whatever 14.5%, like the second one's 12.5%. But if we get pick 6, it's like 22%. Why does it get
22%?
Yeah, it's something. The graph made no sense to me, but I'm wondering.
Probably because
here's my question to you, Chaz. Is if the Pelicans have the 4th worst record, right, and they don't get the top 3, how low can they go in the NBA draft? Like 8th. How far can they fall? How far they can fall?
8th, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 8th.
So if they get outside that top 3, they can fall all the way down to 8. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And if they are the 3rd worst team, just say they're the 3rd worst team, how far could they drop?
6. I think it's 6 or 7. It might be 7. Because it depends on who jumps.
If you get the 8th pick and you have the 4th worst record, that's disaster.
I honestly,
bro, you like the 8th pick after going out of a year of this.
I'm not trying to be like super pessimistic about it, but I think it's really Cooper Flag or bust for this organization because I like Dylan Harper, but it's still now you got to do the rest of the work. You know what I'm saying? Now you still got work to do with Cooper Flag, to be honest. Like, no matter what, you got work to do. No matter what. But if you're talking about more of the tier of player, Cooper Flag's in the tier by himself. Then you got Dylan Harper and his tier with maybe Ace Bailey on the high end, and then you got everyone else. So I think like for me, anything outside of the third pick, if Ace is off the board, you just got to trade it, because what's the point? You can't draft anyway. Like what's like really what's the point?
There's a lot of people that would say you can draft, Chaz. What are you talking about?
There's a lot of people that do a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get into the things they do, but a lot of people went to that island with Griff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they was going on that island, but still, look, man, being realistic, look at this roster. Just look at it. It's Carlo's one of your better players. Like realistically, East is one of your better players. Against real teams, you don't have any real chance. Like, you're talent deprived. You need as much talent as possible. And you don't have a good coach. You don't have anything. So you need to really start building an entirely new foundation with real talent. And I don't think you're doing that with later picks in the draft. I don't even think you're doing that with upperclassmen. And if I'm going to get drafting upperclassmen, I better had traded back into the first round, or I better had gotten a second round pick. Because at this point, you need super high upside talent, because you just ain't got it. Shout out to 504, boy. Appreciate you, bro, with the gifted membership.
Yeah, shout out to 504, man.
Damn, look at that stat. Grub, you
never picked second, third, fifth, or sixth. Jeez. They had the six best.
As bad as this team's been, they've never picked second, third, fifth, or
I think they had the six best odds when they got Zion. I don't remember what it was for AD.
No, I think at that time they just had the worst record, right?
Was it the worst record for AD?
No,
they jumped.
I
think they jumped for AD.
They jumped for AD?
Mm-hmm. They jumped for AD.
Damn. Appreciate this, BP. So, sorry, Jared, before I get to your point, I want to read this comment out. 1 can fall 1 through 5, 2 can fall 2 through 6, 3 can fall 3 through 7, 4 can go 4 through 8. Okay, appreciate that, BP.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Man, y'all hit the like button, man. I don't know what the
special like button. Special like button.
You know what's crazy, bro? I was thinking about this, like watching Cooper. I think the talent level in college basketball is just depleted.
Yeah.
To be honest, man. Like, I just think about, 10, 15 years ago and watching, like, the Big East. Like, dog, there's guys that I thought were like amazing and just couldn't get to the NBA. Or couldn't make it and pan out in the NBA. Now it's like guys are just, they might have like skills, but they don't know how to play basketball, if that makes sense. They have all the skill in the world, but they can't play. They can't think basketball. And it's mind-blowing. Like, look, do you think 10 years ago Jackson Hayes would have got drafted in the top 10? You know what I mean? Like,
not about a good team.
Yeah, like, right, or just
maybe the Timberwolves. Who the Timberwolves drafted? Was it Ola McCandy?
Yeah, Michael McCandy.
That's a hell of a name right there. I forgot about him. Damn, man, that's crazy.
Appreciate you, Zeke. That just got paid Friday night. Appreciate 541. Appreciate you, dog.
So Jared, you bring up a good point. I know you're probably talking to somebody right now, but I've looked at some film, and we can talk NBA draft. I'm not very impressed with the Baylor guy, VJ. I think his name.
Edgecombe.
I literally. Everyone, and I think Chris texted me like, "You just don't like Baylor guy." No, I just don't. I don't like him at all. He does nothing for me. So I said I like Yakinchunas. I could be fucking up his name. Here's why. He's slow. He's slow. He can't create a shot. He's got some European basketball style. Like I'm gonna say a name. Y'all gonna flip out, but I'm gonna say Luka. And watch him. I'm talking about the footwork. I'm talking about the way he. Can get a defender up in the air, up and unders. He moves the basketball, moves defenders with his eyes and the basketball. His footwork's elite. Like, his ball handling, like, it's not that great. But what I'm saying though is that he plays at a very slow pace, but it's very controlled and it's very
mature.
Manipulated. Yes, I love watching Luka play because he's under control throughout the whole game. I've watched Yakinchunas. I'm probably fucking up his name. The way he controls the offense, I really like. Also, before his injury, I think he had like some type of arm strain and like his off ball. He was shooting 41% from deep. The numbers clearly dropped after this injury. Am I saying you should pick him 4? No, not at all. But I do think that if we get 7 or 8, I wouldn't mind. I really would not want him.
See, I wouldn't even trip if they picked them 4. If you did your due diligence, right, and really researched and talked to people and worked them out a couple times and went to wherever he was, like, bro, like that's the thing I don't think they do a lot, right? Like really understand the person that they're picking from a mental standpoint. Like, is he a guy that's going to quit on you, right? Or is he a guy that's going to want out? I wouldn't trip on it if they picked him. But did you do the work to pick him, or are you just allowing the league or the the banter around a guy to decide for you? And I think the Pelicans do that a lot. They will, even today, like, somebody got fired. This would be a perfect time for them to fire.
We can't wait to talk about that.
But they couldn't do it themselves. They just couldn't go out on a limb and be like, this is the right move for us based on what we've done, rather than, whatever the league's doing, we're just going to follow suit.
All right. Go ahead.
But like, who? This is what cracks me up. He can't defend. Okay, how do you measure defending? How do you measure defense? You sure you're watching? Like, are you watching him defend? I'm just saying, like, I'm not drafting a guy if he can play defense or not. I'm just not.
I ain't gonna.
I like the way he plays.
I ain't gonna hold you. To me, them type of dudes, that's the dudes you draft once your team are ready together. Like them low upside, slow, small, can't really do too much guys, but like they're creative and plays the game in between the ears and sees the pass before it happens. Them type of dudes is cool, but to me that's dressing on the steak. That to me that's partially on the steak. That's like Brandon Podzinski or someone like that who it's a good ancillary piece. You coach him up, maybe he can be a good part of your core. Best case scenario, he becomes like a Hero Pritchard, Luke Dort, like a really good contributor on a good team, but individually probably doesn't give you too much. That's why I feel like you got to swing for the fence. Baseball season just started. You got to swing for the fences, even if the dude in jail or something. If he can play, draft him. What's the dude, Mikey Williams or somebody? If you get down to pick 6 and 7, you need to draft somebody who got some problems like Shaden Sharp, but got real talent. Because you don't want to make the same mistake you made with Jordan Hawkins. Like, you drafted Jordan Hawkins because you think he had a skill that you needed, that you really needed, and you had everything else. You're like, no, you don't got shit. You ain't got nothing. You need, even if this motherfucker don't fit your team at all, but he, like, individually, he's a really good player, because you never know. You might need to pivot and move on from Zion. You might need to move on from this entire experiment and start anew with a good player. I ain't starting, what's his name? Jaku. I ain't starting nothing anew with no motherfucking Jaku. I need a motherfucking a star. Like,
give me a European guard. That's all I'm saying. We've never had a European guard. Have we had a European guard ever?
We had a bunch of European ancestry. You had Dan Dickau. You had the dude. Remember we kept bringing them 10-day dudes up? It was one dude. Man, I forgot his name, but this motherfucker was killing him. This one, it was the D League. He was killing him in the D League. He got called up, and it just wasn't popping.
But like, this is my point though. Like, so we're debating Yakinchunas and all these other, like, after pick 4, you really gotta consider.
You gotta move it.
You really gotta consider moving it. And look, like, I'm with you. You're right. Yakinchunas is turnover prone. Is he slow? Absolutely. I'm not saying this guy's a franchise changer, but what I'm just saying though is I think he's a good basketball player. But would he fit on this team? I don't know.
This is a good point Brandon Pitton pointed out. But see, here's the thing, Brandon Pitton. All those guys possess extraordinary skill sets, be it scoring ability, be it athleticism, be it step shooting. At least they had one or two things that was incredible about themselves. That is just like, Steph is kind of small. Maybe he's a 2, not really a 1. I don't know. He went to a small college. Damian Lillard went to a small college. Donovan Mitchell is a small shooting guard. He's not really a point. Harden doesn't really have the athleticism. Westbrook can't shoot. But these dudes all had a super, 1 or 2 things they did extremely well. even like a Jaylen Brown, I think he went third or fourth, and he was like this crazy defender at UCLA with super high athleticism. None of these dudes got that. Like Trey Johnson, he can score, but he's not the most efficient. Fears looks exactly like Hawkins to me, like build wise, and he's a 6'4" guard. You don't need no more small guards who aren't point guards. What's homie name? Edgecombe. I don't believe it at all. I don't believe nothing about it. And so it's Cooper and
Ace.
Dylan.
Ace.
Oh, and Ace is like 6'10". He can score, but he would fit more into that list of people that Brandon listed. I think he would fit more into that crop.
See,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to pass on Ace.
I think he's going to fall.
I think he's going to fall. Now, if you're the Pelicans, that's the route you should probably take if you're at 4.
Cam Whitmore is falling too.
Yeah. Again, you can't teach 6'10". I'd rather, try to hone in a guy rather than like trying to make him be better, right? Like he wants to be good. Again, after I saw him working out with Giannis, kind of told me something like, wait, you working out with that doesn't even Giannis does nothing that Ace Bailey does. Or their games do not correlate. But the fact that you would go outside of your game to try to get better, oh, that's different. Okay, maybe and your love for Waffle House intrigues me. Like, cool, we got a lot of those. So I think a guy like that is the one you take a risk on in the event that you need to move on from. I could try to build around Ace Bailey. I can convince myself to say Ace Bailey is. I can build around a guy like that.
Let me ask y'all this, because it's something I thought about. If Buddy Hield is on the board at 4 or 5,
it's funny you mentioned this thing.
Would you draft Buddy Hield? Because I wouldn't. Knowing what I know now about how he was in his career, I wouldn't draft him. I would just trade
it. That's why I traded for an impact player now. Like that's why this is what I like. I keep saying, like, if you're not top 3, if you're not 1, I would really highly consider trading. If you even get 2, 3, or 4, I would.
What would y'all want? Like if you're 2,
we keep talking about,
right?
bro. Like we keep talking about Sabonis. Like everyone's like, oh, Sabonis is not a level. Like, dude, Sabonis is a really good fucking player.
I think the Kings make a ton of sense, right? Just because they're in turmoil, they don't really have a direction. This allows them to have a direction. Sabonis is already saying with reports like they don't know which way they want to go. So I'm open for
so I keep like the Kings literally, like, I mean, in Sabonis in the tweet or whatever said, like, if they don't have to figure out a direction, like Sabonis with Zion and Trey and hopefully DeJounte, like I wouldn't mind seeing that team. I really wouldn't. But I mean, look, things change quickly in the league. Speaking of, appreciate the super chats. We'll get some in a second. I do want to talk about this. We do have to talk about this. Memphis fires Taylor Jenkins today. 3 weeks before the playoffs. 3 weeks before the playoffs. He's got the 5th seed. He's the winningest coach in franchise history. He's had 2 50-plus win seasons. He's been in the playoffs, not the play-in. He's been in the playoffs 4 times. I'm counting this year as 4. And he gets fired 3 weeks before the playoffs.
Not only that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me try to paint this picture just a little bit. Ja Morant, superstar Ja Morant on the team. I love Ja. I wish the Pelicans would have got.
I love Ja too.
Pick 2. Ja Morant has been out of the lineup multiple times for extended frames, like time frames, right? A year suspension, 25 games suspension, injuries, a litany of things. And yet that team, got better, developed in those times, raised the game of Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., injuries as well.
Tyus Jones filled in that role.
Yeah, Tyus Jones. Like, we've always talked about Memphis because they've always been able to, like, level a guy up as soon as he enters the lineup. They're like, Taylor Jenkins has to have like some kind of influence on that. I think I was telling Ross, like, hey, the the media, not the media, but the fans around Memphis don't like him. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but he has to have some impact on that team. Maybe they thought this is as high as they got, like this, like they got to make a change. Something happened, cool. But I believe that that's a good coach. If you want a good coach, that's one available.
So perfect example, your best player misses like 29 games. They have a winning record without their best player. He's a good coach. He's a really good coach. 40-year-old coach. But anyways,
I think Memphis. I'm sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
Well, I don't ever remember a move like this. Firing a coach 3 weeks before the playoffs. I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I know seen that before.
Let me try. Chad's like, why make this move now? Was it player driven, or was it like, all right, front office, like, I've had enough?
It's probably player driven. They probably felt like he's not necessarily extracting every, piece of value from the players. And Memphis, they notorious. They'll fire a good coach in a minute. They don't give a fuck. They fired JB Bickerstaff. Like, and he was like, we know he's a good coach. So Memphis never really gave a fuck, because Memphis they're not strangers to success. They probably want someone who could get them through the threshold of success. And that's kind of where they've been hitting that glass ceiling. A lot of that has to do with John Morant being hurt and Triple J being hurt, things of that nature. But and them drafting poorly, things of that nature. But I don't take much away from it. It's just that Memphis is a real team. It seems so shocking, I think, because the Pelicans are pretending to be a real team. Like the Pelicans, like most of the things they do are for optics. Like their hiring practices are for optics. Like you got motherfuckers don't even have like real duties. So it's just like there's all PR things for optics. So when you see a real team making real team decisions, it comes across as brash and even a little cold blooded. You're like, nah, we not here to play around. Like, we serious. We ain't playing buddy ball around this bitch. So I think that's why it comes across so shocking.
That goes to the point. Just I remember texting you when I first went to Memphis for a road game, and I was like, this is a different environment. Like everything made sense. Just being in the building. Like I think the way they run the organization, like they have a plan. They want to be a really good organization, from tickets scans, from food being laid out for the media, to it just being clean in the arena. Like there were mop buckets like in line. It seemed like I'm like, what the fuck? This is fire, and it smells like Mr. Clean in here. Like what the fuck? I have never seen this before in my life. But I think that goes to Chaz's point. Just an organization that's serious about what they want. They've been in this limbo space of mediocrity. Like, nah, we're just trying to get above that level. And if they fail, they cool with that, because they're making the decision they think that's best for the organization.
You've been to two. So last year, Jared, you went to two small market arenas. You went to Memphis, or teams. You went to Memphis. You were impressed with that. Then you said OKC was a whole different world.
Yeah, Memphis, OKC, Dallas.
Yeah, obviously Dallas, but talk more about OKC and the way that they do things.
Almost in line with what I thought about Memphis, right? Like a serious organization, from the small details, just in the building, magnified. Bro, like their in-game, like entertainment. I know it was a playoff game, so it might have been, but they made it seem like this happens all the time. Like their fans were in it, like, bro, it was amazing. I really wish that if you get a chance, if you get to go to OKC for game 1 of the playoffs, because that team's going to be in the playoffs, go witness it. Go be a part. It almost reminded me, it really did. It almost reminded me of Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, and the funny part about that, Jared, is like, didn't the Pelicans copy what OKC do? Like, did like half concessions off or something?
Yeah,
like before the game, whatever, some bullshit. But like that, and that was the reason why this was said today. I had a little day on Twitter, so we got fifth fist-seated head coaches being fired weeks before the playoffs and wonder when the Pelicans start acting like an NBA franchise. Some people are upset by it. I honestly don't give a baker's fuck, as Ross would say, because it's the truth.
Yeah, everything
winning to this franchise is not important. It's not.
Everything about the Pelicans like just symbolizes trust fund kid, like someone who didn't earn their position. It just everything about it strikes me is that you look at OKC, but the biggest organization they have outside the Thunder is what, the Sooners. So yeah, they pour all of their resources into like, we're gonna make this a real team, we're gonna make this a quality organization. We serious. You look at what's Memphis, because the Titans play in Nashville. So Memphis is like, yo, this is all we got. We're gonna pour ourselves into this. You know what I'm saying? Talking about a team that was a perennial playoff contender, still a pretty much perennial playoff contender when healthy. We've seen several iterations of the Grizzlies at this point. We've seen several iterations of OKC. They tanked purposefully for a little while and ended up right back on top of things where they were when they had Kevin Durant and Westbrook. And so, I mean, it just shows some strategy, some foresight, shows a little bit of at least from the ownership standpoint, it just shows like the want to be good. I don't think the Pelicans want to be good.
Thank you for saying that, Chaz, because like it kind of pisses me off that a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a small market team. And it's like, okay, well, why are the Grizzlies successful? Why are the Thunder successful? Why are small market teams like those two?
The Cavaliers.
Like even the Spurs, I know they're ever since Wemby went down, but like the Spurs won multiple championships. Like they draft well. Like I would love to actually look up the stat of like their home attendance this year, which I will in a second, but spare me the whole small market bullshit. Like those franchises want to win. They invest in their fans. They give a good product, whether it's on the court or off the court, in-game entertainment. They make it like every game's a playoff game. Every time I watch Memphis, like Jared, like OKC, doesn't matter if you're having a good year or a bad year, they're fucking invested. And that's what's like the most frustrating part about this whole thing is like, there's no excitement with this fan base because you give us none, and then we're the assholes. We're the bad guys when all we want is a good product.
And they try to spin the narrative that people don't want to show up. Well, that's not necessarily the case, right? Like, no, people really do want to go watch the Pelicans play basketball, but you can't make them watch some bullshit. You can't force them to spend people don't have just expendable money just to be going to a basketball game just because it's a basketball game. They want to be entertained. I can be entertained at home if that was the case. Like, I'm not spending my extra money on a piss poor product time and time again, waiting for a coach to be good, a player to be good, a team to be good. Like, nobody's doing that. See a fool, play a fool. My bad. Go ahead, Chad.
No, good, but I also think I also blame a lot of the fan base, truthfully, because you got a lot of fans who, I mean, not to know the team is still relatively young in the city, so you got a lot of people that didn't grow up watch. I don't like that slogan, Corey. I'm voting against that one, brother. but you got a lot of people that they're not fans of the Pelicans, and also the fan base, they don't know what a good team looks like necessarily.
They never had one.
They never had one, and even then, like, that's why I'm like, Chris Paul, that shit was cool, but like that Chris Paul ain't got no scans on the wall like that, so I think that's a big part of it too. Because even when you try to say, man, this team needs to be held accountable because of this, and this, they got my money. People are like, well, they're doing the best they can. Is this whole, remedial Olympics like type thing? Like, they treat all this team like everyone's from Shriners Hospital or something. And it's like everybody's it's just like, come on, man, no standards whatsoever. My nephew, he in New York right now, and he was like, man, this is different. I was like, bruh, of course it is. You in a real city. Like, you in a big real city. Like, of course things are different. Canal Street ain't on Canal Street. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's just so frustrating. You want it to be a good product, and the reality of the situation, they've won 2 playoff series in 22 years. They have a very outdated stadium. Their in-game entertainment's not great. The product on the court is not great. There's really no excitement right now. They keep raising ticket prices. It goes on and on. Don't get me started on the fucking parking and trying to even get into the game with all the renovations.
Gail Benson dresses like Michael Jackson.
It's
Gail Benson looked like the Captain Crunch guy. Like she just
the sound system sucks in there. The sound system sucks in there. Like the press conference rooms, dim lights. Like it's just not
dim
like
lights. They got 480p cameras.
It's just they can't do the small things. If you can't do the small things right, how do you expect to do the big things right? And it's just frustrating as a fan who's actually we're all from the city. Like this is what's so frustrating. Work. It's like we're literally all from the city. We want the team to be successful, and then you get mad at us because we want to hold y'all accountable because what? Y'all run y'all and like I'm not the one saying it, but multiple people say y'all run a farm system. Every fucking player we get, every big ticket player we get is gone. Anthony Davis asked out. Chris Paul asked out. Zion Williamson next couple of years will probably ask out. And you're mad at us for being frustrated? But y'all want to keep raising ticket prices and not, investing in the stadium, in the team, anything?
Man.
That's my problem.
I just so much about it. It's just funny.
It's just a bad business. Like it is what it is. And then like y'all like lie to the fan base all the time. And
this is so much of it is like it's actually cartoonish. That's why you can't even like really get too serious about it. That's why I joke about it all the time. Like I might tell you a joke, I never tell you a lie. It's just nobody.
But here's the thing, Chaz. Like we don't even want like if you it's not championship or bust for this fan base, and that's okay. We just want entertainment and entertaining product. And
at this point,
people are hanging banners for a 49-win season. Taylor Jenkins was ripping off 50-win seasons. You probably would have ripped off a 50-win season.
People were hanging banners when they made it to the Cup semifinal or whatever the fuck it was. It just man.
The bar has got to be higher. But like you're right, Chaz. Like as a fan base, like if this was the Saints, this would be unacceptable.
Oh yeah, that's why
Saints fans going crazy right now.
But that's crazy. The thing. That's why, and it's crazy because most people who are Saints fans, they don't know anything about the Pelicans. Like even when like you engage them about the Pelicans, like oh okay, you don't really know basketball like that, or you don't know about the Pelicans anyway specifically. Clarify.
No, I was just gonna say like think about it. The Superdome holds what 77,000, if I'm not mistaken, 76 or something like that. All you needed to do was transferred a fourth of that to the Smoothie King Center, right? Like that's essentially what a fourth of the Saints a fourth of it to the Smoothie King Center. You can't do it. Like you can't do it at a high level. Like that's the true issue. You can't. People are already next door, and you can't get them to walk across.
No,
the street.
like literally next door. Like they're literally next door.
You can't get them to walk across the street. That's how piss poor you are. You already have them.
But you're the problem, Jared, and I'm the problem, and Chaz is the problem, and Ross and Chris and we're the problem. You're worried about us. You got 20 fucking wins on the year. Okay?
I'll be the motherfucking problem.
Trust me, I know, Chaz.
I'm that 500-pound gorilla in your motherfucking midst. I don't give a fuck. I think y'all stink. First of all,
we need to bring back hot takes.
I might have to bring hot takes back because I'm just like, it's like what you really want.
Because Chaz, seriously. You know what I want to do? I want to get too crazy. I want a Sunday show of what is actually wrong with this franchise and what needs to change. And it starts at the top.
Stuff, man. It's it's all the big bad booty daddy. It's David Griffin. He just. It's crazy. You just don't see anyone anymore. That's the most noticeable thing, right?
You don't see anybody anymore. Nobody.
Yeah, you don't see nobody no more. That's
went to the game the other night. Didn't see David Griffin in his regular
season. The
where's
wild
everybody?
Thing? No one's calling for them.
Yeah, no one even asking for
them. And
them.
if you do call for them, they're going to complain about you. They're going to let you know. They're going to complain. They're going to be upset. They're going to hit, ruffle some feathers.
Last season, Swin was acting like Puff Daddy. Swin all on the floats, all on the interviews, all on the records. Now, what happened to the Pelicans documentary? Don't y'all have a reality show? What happened to the reality show? What's up with the new apps? What's up with the new apps?
I'll tell you what. Haven't heard from Griffin. I can't wait. I can't wait for that the postseason presser. I can only imagine what that's going to be about.
You think he'd do one this season?
If he doesn't, then he needs to be like. If he doesn't do what he needs to be, this is his job. Just do your job. That's what I'm worried about. Do your job, okay? And if, by the way, like I've gotten 15 missed calls from Pelicans ticket reps, guys, I ain't coming. Okay, pause. I ain't coming. All right,
That's a good one.
I ain't coming. Okay.
Yeah, what's the point?
I look. Shout out to the younger guy like Keon Brooks and Reeves and. I'm not spending a night away from my family to come watch the game. So I don't want to come. Pause. Okay.
It's like when you go on let's say when you go on a trip, like let's say I don't want to name no specific, but let's say when you go on vacation, if you pick the wrong resort, you're gonna have a totally different idea about this place. Your ass stay at the wrong motherfucking place. If you stay at an inn, and not like a real resort, you gonna be like, oh, I ain't never coming back here. So that's the thing with the Pelicans. It's like now, like I gotta go to the shitty arena. I gotta watch these shitty players that I never even like really heard of like that. I gotta watch the shitty coach, the shitty product. Ladies, stand up for the fourth quarter. Pelicans down by 45, heading into the fourth. We got like nobody want to see this. Like nobody, man, get some real people in the building, bro.
Get some intriguing rookies.
Yeah, like come on, man.
Just be entertaining. Anyways,
Todd, by the team, Todd. Canes out here. They pop. Canes is everywhere out here now. Where I'm at. They got one down the street. That bitch closed at 1 a.m. Todd, just by the team, dog. Let's just by the team.
Please. Shout out all the super chats. We'll go super chats real quick and then we'll get out of here. So Joey, appreciate the $2 super chat. How would y'all feel if we draft
Malak and Hot? See, that's the problem right there. The fact that I can't even say.
I don't know how to.
Yeah,
I gotta look
around. That's the center from Duke, I believe.
The center from Duke. Okay. Well, I mean,
he just too big and slow.
Could you imagine 2 first-round picks of centers? Could you imagine that?
I don't want.
Holy shit.
Damn, I had a fire joke. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I don't want to do that just because it's
Malu watch. Thanks.
Okay.
See, we're a community. We help each other out. This is how this works.
Yeah, so. I don't want to go to that same like in back-to-back drafts.
No. Why would you? No.
But Silver he said that because those guys are a little more like polished and they can contribute in a role playing position away.
Chaz, we talk about, I just don't want to draft another center.
I can get them dudes off the street, to be honest. Yes. Like Carlo could catch lives, just like Malawaj caught like 10 lives last night. Carlo could catch a live. Yeah, fuck it.
It's fine. Ezekiel, appreciate the super chat. Just got paid Friday night. Appreciate 501 boy. Appreciate capture flag. Zeke, appreciate you, man.
Say Trey Meesey.
Brandon, $5 super chat. Jenkins, our next coach. No, he will have his pick of the litter, in my opinion.
He going to San Antonio.
Shit.
That mulatto dude is trash.
Jenkins will be the best coach on the market. He'll go wherever he wants to go. He might go to Philly. And I'll tell you this: was they get coaching carousels will be interesting this summer. Pelicans have a lot of options, especially Borrego's literally sitting right there. But go ahead, Jared.
Brandon, we I think that the saying is we counting the eggs before it hatches. Like we gotta fire the head coach first. Like we gotta fire the one we got first before we can even think about who's the next one. Like I don't even know if it's even gonna happen.
It's very debatable. It's up in the air right now for sure. So yeah, I don't know, Brandon. Sorry, I pulled that comment down, Chaz. Do you have something from Sean?
Nah, he was just asking if Zion done for the season. I have an interesting membership show coming up soon about Zion.
There's just his back's look. It's a serious injury. You gotta just
doctor said he needed Becky out of me.
Gotta take care of that. Black Knight 2122, appreciate the super chat. It really doesn't matter who they get as long as Willie's the coach. He will break them. Willie Green breaks rookies. This is my biggest issue here with Willie Green is that he doesn't trust rookies. And so once again, if you take a top 4 or 5 pick, who knows how he will play under Willie Green? There's a lot of examples. Trey Murphy was sent to the G League under Willie Green. Antonio Reeves barely plays, even though when he should be playing. Jordan Hawkins is a good example. Yves Missy is only playing because he's the only center on the roster. Who else am I missing?
I agree with Black Knight, but also I think pause this for this expression. I think the cream rises to the top because Kyrie not even in the NBA no more. Like
True.
Dyson had his chance, but Dyson just ain't a point guard. He's a wing. Like he just a wing. You know,
True.
Jackson Hayes barely in the NBA right now. Trey Murphy, like I think if you got talent, you can kind of succeed no matter like what you're doing. Like when you get those opportunities, you're going to succeed. It might not be as much as you could have succeeded in a better system. Like even like a Zion or a like a Antonio Reeves when he does play. Hawkins has had some games. I don't think Jordan Hawkins is bad because of Willie Green. I think he just always been a bad shooter, like his entire basketball career. But I don't think Willie Green helps. That I think that's more the issue. He's not helping the situation.
Tennessee, like a lot of people say this, but also then a lot of people say, well, injuries, and that's also true. He hasn't. The whole Brandon Ingram situation was just a nightmare. The fact that he's still not even back, he is going to be out for the year with an ankle sprain is in December is insane.
Yo,
and they were offered, and Griff offered him $50 million a year.
You know what? I want to mention this as like the last point. I saw Nick Wright say something today about Cooper Flag going to Miami. And a part of me is starting to notice a pattern. Like I think the media and the NBA to a lesser degree has a bit of or more comfortable saying some things maybe a little scripted. I'm just starting to notice that people are just a little more comfortable. I understand why Nick Wright is saying it. He's like, well, fuck. If Cooper good, I mean, we got to cover him in Miami. We got to go to Miami. You know, I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, he was real comfortable saying that. It's like when Shaq told David Stern, I mean, I want to go somewhere with warm weather. And the only warm weather team was Miami. And Orlando. And, you know, it's just interesting.
Well, a lot to talk about on Sunday night. Appreciate everyone that commented, watched the show, super chats, all y'all appreciate it. This season is almost over, but we have a lot of content coming your way. We got a lot of NBA draft prospects we're gonna break down. We got trades. Chaz is someone I don't know how Chaz does it, but he just sees in the future. The whole Sabonis thing, I think that's gonna be a real thing this off season as well. So a lot of content coming up. We'll be live again Sunday night. I think the Pelicans play Sunday. Do y'all know what time?
They play at 6 Central. 6.
All right, cool. So we'll go live right after the game. We'll do a very, very small recap, and then we will talk about what needs to change this offseason. X, yeah, appreciate you, man. We're gonna leave now, so y'all have a really good Friday night. Make sure you smash. Make sure you smash like button. X, you're the man. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see y'all on Sunday night.